All right. Yeah, so again, thank you everyone for joining today. For those that don't know me that are on the call, I'm Elizabeth Cotton. I'm the Executive Director of Black Tech Link. We are a California-based nonprofit that supports the economic development of Black and other underrepresented communities through STEM training, small business training, workforce development, things of that nature. And I'm really glad that you're here today. This program is a part of our initiative called BIPOC Coastal Research Program, where all of the students that you see in this call are part of our first cohort of the BIPOC Coastal Research Program. And the goal of this program is to support 2-year, 4-year students that are interested in marine biology, marine sciences, oceanography, environmental science, and helping them kind of like build their career, provide connections. And so part of that, this cohort is also to provide like research opportunities. And so in this workshop today, I'm really excited to introduce you all to a new technology. And talking with some of the students, I think maybe a couple of you all have used GIS, but I know this may be new for a lot of the students. So I'm happy to be joined today with Veronique Couté, who is a seasoned GIS professional. And just really quickly, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, let's go. I'm going to start calling names. You just introduce yourself, what school you're going to, what your major is, and we'll start from there. Let's start with Haley.
I'm Haley. I go to SDSU and I'm a marine bio major going to my senior year.
Nicholas.
My name's Nick. I'm a incoming master's student in computer engineering at UCSD. Yeah.
Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm currently at San Diego City College, but looking to transfer to UCSD for oceanography and atmospheric science.
Nice. Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm going into my 3rd year at Cal State San Marcos, and I'm an ecology major.
Facundo.
Hi, I'm Facundo, and I am a 4th year at Cal State San Marcos, and I'm majoring in environmental studies.
Nice. Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm going into my 1st year master's program, and I'm going to be doing environmental studies at Cal State Fullerton.
Sorry, I have to give a shout out to Fullerton. I'm alumni. Yes, happy to have Titan on the call. Let's see, Eric.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Camacho. I'm going into my 3rd year at community college at Miracosta Community College with intent to transfer to UC Davis for civil and environmental engineering.
Awesome, thank you. Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I go to SDSU and I'm majoring in marine biology.
Nice. Mariami. I say, it's Miriam, but is it Miriam? Or is it, my Portuguese self says Mariami. It's Miriam.
Yeah, my name is Miriam, and my major is environmental and ocean science with a minor in environmental policy at USD.
Catherine.
Hi, I'm also from USD, and my major is in biology.
Awesome, wonderful. Kim. Kim. Maybe we're gonna come back to Kim. Obi.
Hi, my name is Obi. I'm a UC Irvine public health graduate alumna and health informatics minor, and I'll be attending UCLA in the fall for my master's in nursing.
Well, I'm glad that everyone's on right now. Is Clinton on? No, his note taker is on.
Yeah.
And then we also are joined by Nate Outlaw. Nate, he's our STEM program manager. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Think maybe.
Okay, so like Nate and I are like literally sitting in the same room at the same conference, so there may be some like feedback from that. I thought like me muting myself may like help, but I guess it didn't. Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll come back, but I appreciate you all for being on the call today. And just really quickly, I know I had sent an email out to everyone about registering for ArcGIS, the free accounts. Our goal is to get you guys like the full account. I'm still working with Esri to do that, but were you guys able to sign up okay? Wonderful. All right, well, the hard part is done. I'm gonna leave it to Vero to go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm like really excited to be here and have a chance to meet all of you and to have this session. It's really a pleasure to be with this to do this session with you today. So I actually usually start on my session, virtual and in person, with a little grounding session because it helps me be present. It helps people in the room be present because our mind is usually running around. So I will actually ask, you can sit in a comfortable position and turn off your camera. You can close your eyes or keep your eyes open, whatever you feel comfortable, and I will be guiding you through this grounding session. So what we will be doing actually is a visualization. So I want you to imagine different parts of your body and directing attention to it, just noticing, not judging, just identifying if there is any area of your body where you might be holding tension. And you will essentially start from your calf. You will go up your legs, your chest, your arms, just taking note of the different area of your body. And when you identify an area where you might be holding tension, maybe just inviting oxygen into that space, just breathing. Maybe it's your face, maybe your jaw is clenched, maybe your forehead is tense. Inviting a gentle smile on your face. Again, when you identify areas where you're holding tension, no judgment, just inviting oxygen. And you can continue doing this scan multiple times, just feeling your feet grounded, your palms gently resting on your lap. And I'm going to invite you to take 3 deep breaths together. Inhale. Exhale out. One more breath, inhale. Exhale out. And one more deep breath, inhale. Exhale out. Wonderful. We're going to slowly return back to the room, turning back on your camera if you feel comfortable to do so. again, like I want to say welcome to this session. I'm going to start sharing my screen. I don't want this to be a session where I'm talking at you like nonstop and you don't feel like you can interrupt me. So I will be sharing a screen and presenting. Feel free to post comments in the chat and raise your hand if you have a question to interrupt me. I genuinely mean it because this is really your space to learn. It's not my space to just talk at you. I understand that there's different levels at which you're coming into this geospatial space. So let me start sharing my screen for the presentation and slideshow. Just making sure you see my slides, right? Okay, so actually, what will happen is Angel, who is on my team, and Anne-Sophie, who will be introduced as well in this session, will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any issues or questions, please just let me know. This session is really about thinking about what a sense of place in science and storytelling means, right? As an organization and as the founder of both Geospatial AfriTech, which is my consulting firm, and the AfriTech Fellowship, which is my nonprofit centering women in STEAM. And our mission is really to elevate unheard community voices by providing them with a tool that they need to create system change. So because you're in a field that is really about system thinking and approaching and finding challenges to system, geospatial technology actually provides a really powerful tool that really can help understand impact and drive decision making. We already did the grounding session. Hi again, my name is Veronique Couté Jenkins, and you can call me Vero. I'm the founder and the director of Geospatial Equity Tech GT and the AfriTech Fellowship. I'm a social impact strategist. What does mean is my focus is really to understand where impact lies with organizations doing work in the environmental sector and helping them devise a strategy for impact, leveraging geospatial technology as one of the tools in my toolkit. I'm also a National Geographic Explorer and a Wayfinder awardee for this year, actually. I will be assisted by my brilliant team tonight, Angel Carré, which you can call Anga, who is the program manager at the AfriTech Fellowship, and she's also supporting us with marketing and storytelling at GT. She is also a Mandela Washington Fellowship alumni. I will also be joined by the wonderful Anne-Sophie Virasamy, who is our communication assistant and an alumni of the AfriTech Fellowship. She is currently pursuing her master's in Ireland through the SIDS Fellowship Program at the University of Cork. So I'm very fortunate to have an amazing team. One thing that we have in common with you, I'm a field biologist by training. So my career started on the field doing conservation. Same for Angel. We actually work together in the trenches that are conservation work and field work. And it was a brilliant space to meet someone like her. And Anne-Sophie works in marine conservation and marine science. So we really hope that by sharing our journey and our stories and providing a little demo about what geospatial technology, we can really engage you in this powerful tool tonight. So we'll start with a quick activity, actually. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. And give me 1 second, making sure I got the right link. So I'm posting a link in the chat. So this one is a survey. You can submit as many points as you want. It is a survey that will ask you 2 questions. As a place that it means something to you. So really use the search bar to find what that dot is. You can use the search bar. You can navigate on the map. It's not compulsory for you to do the survey, and you can submit as many points as you want. It could be a place that you dream of visiting or somewhere that has shaped your story. And I want you to use 3 words to describe the place you chose. So that is the first activity, and I'm going to give you time as I continue for my slides, so you can just put your answers in here for now. The other activity that is going to take a few minutes as well for us to do real quickly, grabbing the second link. I'm actually quite curious, right? Because I want to know from your perspective, there's no wrong or right answer. What does GIS, so Geographic Information System or Geospatial technology, allows us to do? So if you can take a few minutes to do those two, so I'll give you 2 free minutes. I don't want you to overthink what this is. This is just me trying to get a sense of what your thoughts are about GIS so we can have a more tailored conversation as well as we go forward. And please let me know if the link actually works, because that's always a concern.
They both worked for me.
Thank you. Awesome. So I'm gonna let you continue submitting your answer, and I'm gonna continue by giving you an overview of the agenda. So keep popping your answers into the Mentimeter, because I see Mariam said that she submitted hers, so it's working, which is always great to know. So basically, keep popping your answers, and I will go back to my presentation and we'll go back to the answer in a bit. Okay. So essentially, a couple of years back, Anga on my team introduced me to the hero's journey, and I thought it was quite fun, because I really feel like with learning, that's really what it is, a call to adventure and seeking a mentor that really is pushing you into a space of unknown. And there will be trial and failures and growth and learning new skills. And then you have this big revelation. You potentially make mistake along the way. You learn how to correct those mistakes. You acquire new skills. And then you go back to the starting point of this adventure. So this is really what I feel like it is for any skill set. And that includes geospatial technology, right? We're not going to come out of this 2-hour session where you're suddenly going to master the skill, because what I'm introducing you is to a new world. We're crossing a threshold of me sharing, you meeting. Hopefully you'll feel like I'm providing enough mentorship for you to cross that threshold. So this is really what we're trying to achieve in this session. Like any skill set, it requires you to engage with it on your own, to ask questions, and we will be available if you have questions as well afterward or project. The great thing is with the AfriTech Fellowship, we have tons of fellows that are willing to mentor and support you if you have project and have GIS needs. So I really want you to think of this session today as an introduction to what's possible, to think about your own projects as we go through that process today. So a quick background of what sparked my GIS love is it's funny, I'm referred as a GIS professional quite a bit, but I don't really feel like I'm a GIS professional on most days, because I came from a conservational background. My job was tagging the Mauritius paradise flycatcher, poor animals. They really didn't enjoy that process, translocating them and then radio tracking them. But such a powerful tool allowed me to understand movement of the bird, allowed me to understand the intricate process that goes along with the translocation. So really, when I did field work is where my passion for GIS came, because I realized I could take the work that I was doing on the field, transpose that into a visualization, and use that to derive decision making. So it was a really exciting shift and transition for me when I discovered that there was even more to GIS that I didn't realize. So that really is a bit of a background. And in the last 4 years, I have launched and founded the AfriTech Fellowship, which is really a community for us to develop skills in geospatial technology, but also project management, wellness, and inclusive leadership. Because as STEM professional, we need a multidisciplinary toolkit to be impactful and to bring societal change. So really, when I approached my nonprofit, it was not just to give GIS training. It was to address societal's problem with critical thinking while leveraging geospatial technology. So I love this little map, because how many of you did realize how many countries can fit into the continent of Africa? You could raise your hand, or so I'm imagining some of you might be surprised, and rightly so, because of projection, right? Map, they tell a distorted story, and they have always been able to, as much as they are powerful storytelling tools, they can reinforce negative narratives. So there is no map that's innocent. And for the record, I'm not even sure I said we're all from Mauritius. And if you see the little dot on the corner here that says Polui, that's where we're from. This is our island and home country of Mauritius. So we're very excited to have this call across the world, literally, the power of technology. And so when I show this map in a room, I love doing the session in person where I get to see the reaction of people. And you can go and play around with true size and go find Mauritius and bring Mauritius to wherever you are right now, because it really gives you a sense that map are a powerful storytelling tool, but they are not always accessible to the people that needs it. So they're not, it's not a tool that is yet democratized. It's not equally available. And the access to learning and applying way in an equitable and inclusive way is not always what it should be. If actually it's mostly not what it should be. So all this to say that there is no map that isn't made with an inherent bias. And you see this with a Mercator projection that is most predominantly used, that basically inflates the northern hemisphere and shrinks the southern hemisphere and the continent of Africa, leading to this perception that Africa is a small country. But as you can see, you can fit the United States, India, and China in the continent of Africa. So I always love this example because for me, it brings to attention the fact that maps are not innocent. They have a lot of power. And this is another one that I really love. It's the in 2018, this map actually went viral because people had never seen this House projection in a very long time. It's actually a very old map, and it's a map that connects all the oceans. So this, you see the little white dot? Like I say, this is where we're from, Mauritius. And this is a map showing all the oceans of the world connected. It's not a view that we regularly see, but it brings to attention the fact that all the oceans are actually connected. And it takes away that sense of separation that we have when we see the traditional globe that we're used to seeing in every science class. I love this perspective, actually. I think it's quite powerful in showing that, especially with you like being in the marine world, that the impacts that we have on one side of the world will trickle down to other parts of the world because we are a big mass of connected ocean. So like I said, this is a wonderful map that focuses on the ocean. So now I'm going to share what you, I'm curious to see what you shared. So I'm going to share another screen. Going back to it's taking a second to load. Very exciting. Wow, you guys are really fast. I got 28 responses. So sharing my little dashboard. So just before this call, I made this little dashboard because I was curious to see your story, and it's very exciting to see that the number one word that came out in this word cloud was home, right? And I chose the spill house because I just used the spill house illustration, and you see how we all feel connected right now on a map like this. It's so powerful. It's like such a different story than if you would use a different base map, it would be completely different. And actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to shift to an imagery based map. Do you feel like how separated we suddenly look when we are in different parts of the world, when in reality we're all connected by one ocean? So this little activity, I really enjoyed it because it gets to show what matters to people everywhere in the world. And so let me just click on, okay, so that was my own point. We're not gonna, I know who, I know who wrote this. This is Angel, she wrote my pink pigeons. So slide bias for her birds here. Let's see. We have somewhere here, peaceful, warm and inviting. Where is this actually? Would someone mind telling me in the chat? See, you can do GIS and not know every island. Oh, Hawaii. Yes, of course, that makes sense. Totally. Let's see here. Never been, curious, vibrant. So you see how such a powerful data collection can bring stories out. So I always say, like, it's not just a decision-making tool, it's a storytelling tool. It's a storytelling tool that connects us as well. So let's see what you answered in your little survey. So just making sure you're still seeing the same. So visualize, discover, locate, curiosity, resource monitoring, information, growth, disparities, direction. Okay. Yeah, this is really interesting. So I think you all pretty much have a really good grasp of the power of GIS, and that's really exciting because that makes for more rich conversation. So let's go back to the slides real quick. And I say that real quick, but I do it really slowly because I click on a million screen. That's what happens when you have a million screens. Okay, we're good. So I'm gonna lay some foundation for GIS, but I am going to be very brief, knowing that you have given some answers that indicate to me that you already have a foundation to understand what GIS can do, like from a theoretical perspective. Then we'll shift into a demo and examples. Again, all throughout that process, feel free to stop us and to ask us questions. So when you think about GIS, it's really an approach to integrate knowledge by location. It really provides a great opportunity for us to understand and provide a deeper context for communication. So you can leverage different sources of data like detailed landscape, coast landscape, political boundaries, observation, individual points like donors, funders, and really combine this to create what I call a lasagna of information and to integrate that information to help us understand our world better. And that allows us to derive decision making, but also understand where do we have the greatest impact? How can we prioritize resource? And again, remember what I said earlier, when you don't involve the right people in that process, when you don't make sure that you're democratizing access to spatial literacy, not how to do GIS, but how to interpret GIS, you're risking excluding some people of the decision-making process. So always keep that lens with how you approach any kind of GIS workflow. So when you think about the lasagna and you can constructing it together, it really allows you to overlay this information to be able to think spatially and to integrate information with rich insight and present a more accurate depiction of the world. So this is then leads to impactful decision making. So really, it's essential to the development of spatial thinking. And what it allows us to do is to understand where, to measure size and shape and distribution, and to determine how places are related, to find the best location and path, to detect and quantify patterns, and to detect and quantify pattern was repeated twice. There's only 5 points, sorry. So essentially, you know, what I want to say with GIS, it has lots of application, but how you use it, once again, can be as impactful as how you involve people throughout that process. So this is what leads us to spatial GIS, spatial awareness, sorry. So when you think about the components of GIS, you really have the hardware component, your software component, the data, the people, and the workflows. You will probably go to university and have GIS courses, and they will focus heavily, potentially, I don't know how it's done, but a lot of GIS courses focuses heavily on the hardware, the software, and the data, which is totally fine because it's very important basic knowledge. I want to outline the people and the workflow question for you because I think it is a major gap in how GIS is actually taught currently, and it limits how we apply the technology tremendously. So when you think about a basic geospatial workflow, the first thing that I want you to think about is understanding your problem statement. So I love doing this 5 why activity because as part of the fellowship, I ask fellows to design a capstone project to leveraging geospatial technology. And I ask them, so what problem are you trying to tackle? And they will say drought. And I say, your story map is going to solve drought. And I'm like, probably not. But there are pieces of the problem that might be solved through your story map. Or maybe you're not trying to solve a problem, you're trying to bring awareness to a problem. So we need to rethink the problem statement. So anytime you approach any geospatial project, I will urge you to take the time to think about your problem statement. What change are you trying to achieve? Who is your target audience? What do they care about? And how can I influence them and create change? What is the story am I telling with this technology? Because a map is never innocent. So when you're using and creating a geospatial product, what problem are you trying to tackle? I will share those slides afterwards, so you don't need to worry about memorizing the whole workflow. It will be sent to you. Now you shift onto collecting data. So when you're collecting data, what data do I need to support my story? Do I have enough data? How clean is the data? Has someone else got the data? Do I need to go out and collect the data? So asking you a question about the data collection process, again, it's about planning the whole process as you go into it. Because here's the truth with geospatial technology, there are lots of different sources of data available out there. Making sure that your data is complete, accurate, and represent the right perspective is essential in creating impactful geospatial product. Then you move into the analyze part. Once you've collected the data, the first step is even visualization. You will start seeing trends and patterns that you observe in the data. And you will start seeing whether there are gaps. Do I have enough data to support the story that I'm trying to tell? Do I need to collect data? This whole spatial workflow is iterative. You will potentially have to go through it multiple times. And the analyze piece, what will oftentimes happen is you will look at your data and it will bring more question, and that will be frustrating. But that's okay, because if it's not bringing more question, I would actually be worried And bringing more questions doesn't necessarily mean you need to go find the answers to the question, but it is very important for you to document what these questions are, because that could be something that you communicate in further research. That could be something that you integrate as, look, my data, I went through this and the data was lacking, but this is the trends that came out of looking at my geospatial data. Now, one of the most challenging part of being a scientist is communicating your story. And this is one of my favorite tool from the ArcGIS world is really StoryMap, because how do we as scientists communicate those world challenges and those complex scientific data to an audience that doesn't necessarily understand the science? So when you're collecting data, start thinking, how can I visually also represent that data in a way that will help people understand it? Will my audience understand how I'm trying to represent the information? Because a lot of the time when I ask the audience question, especially for StoryMap as a product, I get general audience as in response. General audience doesn't exist. You have target audience. They could be potentially funders that are within a specific demographic. Are they community members? Are they youth in the community member? So the story has to align with your audience, and that audience need to understand your data. It doesn't matter if it's the most complex dashboard ever created in history. If your audience doesn't have the data literacy and the spatial literacy to understand what's in it, it's not gonna hit the mark. So sometimes picking simplicity over complexity can be such a powerful communication tool, but making sure that that simplicity is backed by a robust, clearly documented process is really what's really important out of this process. So really thinking also for your geospatial data, it doesn't exist in a silo. How do I supplement it with other forms of media and stories to really help amplify the story? Do I have videos? Do I have potentially interviews that I can share? So really to try to think about it in that way. Later in the session after the demo, Anne-Sophie will actually share about her own story map that she created as part of her capstone project. And she will share her own story and adventure with GIS technology as she went through the fellowship. I'm really excited for her to share her story map with you, why she did it the way she did, what is her current step in life using geospatial technology, and how she was introduced to it, and whatever she feels necessary to share with all of you today, to share her own passion. She has successfully gotten a lot of us into the water despite. So we are an island, but a lot of us can't swim. She's managed to drag a bunch of us diving, and is managed to convince a bunch of us to go get our certification now. So, you know, her story map was quite impactful. We took her literally of the let's go dive together. I will be passing it to Angel to do really her demo, which will talk about the different geospatial product overview. There are so many tools in the ArcGIS world, and if you've ever used any of them, they can do so many things. You have one of my favorite impactful stories using ArcGIS StoryMap. You have monitoring and evaluation with ArcGIS dashboard. So the picture that I show you, the screen share I did earlier with your data was from the ArcGIS dashboard. Map-driven data collection using ArcGIS field map. Form-driven data collection with survey 123. So what you submitted answers to is survey 123. A simple survey, right? But it can capture location. And that survey took me literally 10 minutes to create on survey 123. So rapid data collection, which is another form of field data collection, ArcGIS quick capture, and it's really for your disconnected data collection. You have web applications that comes with a series of templates around building and deploying interactive applications. and ArcGIS Hub, which is really about data and engagement platform. As you can imagine, we don't have a ton of time tonight, so we will not be able to give you a demo on every single one of these tools. We have chosen to focus on StoryMap because it is such a powerful tool that leverages components of the other tools for storytelling. And I will now pass it to Angel Carré on my team. So before I do that, actually, does anyone have any questions? There's no wrong questions. Even if you want to tell me Spillhouse was a pretty map, that's cool. You can tell me Spillhouse was a pretty map. Good. If you have questions, you can put it in the chat. We'll make sure we get to it eventually. Now you can see Angel with her. I can't believe I thought the first point I hit on was the pink pigeon point on the map, but here we are, Angel with her pink pigeon. It wasn't rehearsed, I promise. I didn't know she was going to submit that. The floor is yours, Angel.
Thank you so much, Vero. And I must say, the pink pigeon has a big place in my life. So, so as Vero said, I'm Anga, and I'm very happy to be with all of you today. And so we wanted to have, oh, someone is saying that they like pigeon. Thank you so much. Because some people don't understand why I love this bird so much. So I'm very happy. I would like to say that we discussed about this workshop, and Vero was asking, maybe we should try to see pictures that represent how we were connected to GIS in the first place and location. And just as she said, we met on the conservation field. So I was actually on the Pink Pigeon project, and when I left, I was actually the coordinator of the project. I was there for 5 years, and one thing that struck me was we did do GPS loggers on their back as well. We had like little harness for them, and sure, they did not like it, but it was really fun to be able to see the different movement that was happening. And the key aspect that we had from it was to showcase how we have different subpopulations around the island, and then showcase how some of them do move from subpopulation to the other. And one key information was that it showed us how it grew over time, but also how we might create other subpopulation in between. So it helped us into decision making. And on the right, it's a picture of tags that we used in the forest. It was either to monitor nests that we would find. So we would take a GPS point, and also for phenology. So it was to track the different amount of trees that were around in the forest that had food for the pink pigeons and other birds that we protected back then for food, even though we did have feeders. So you will see at the back behind me, there's like a feeder. I know there's a lot of echoparakeet on it, but it was actually the pink pigeon feeder. Even though the echoparakeets were always stealing food from them. And that's what I knew about GIS. I thought it was just, taking points and just making decisions. So I knew it was a decision-making tool. But later on, when I left the conservation field and I started working with Vero, I realized that even though storytelling has always been part of my life, I didn't know that I could actually merge it with GIS. And that's what struck me. So for me as well, it's basically being able to tell a story using location and using information that you yourself know is real on the field is really, really impactful. So basically, I will be showing you a brief overview of ArcGIS Online and the platform that I'm sure you've all been able to log in by now. And then, of course, I will show you where you can find the other tools, but also we will have a brief overview of the StoryMap tool, which is also my favorite. So I think I can start sharing my screen now. Thank you all. Give me a second. Oh, I sent a request. I need to request it. I don't know, the host is the one who is supposed to let me in. I can't share my screen at the moment.
Is Nate or Elizabeth, can you give Anne-Gail permission? I think I was able to change it.
Okay, it's good now.
Can
It's
you?
good, yeah.
Yeah. I was able to change it. I was an admin for some reason. So it's
Okay.
working.
Yeah, so I don't know, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So let me just try to, okay, yeah, that's good. So basically this is, for us it's GeoEquity Tech because it's our geospatial technology platform that we are using. So basically when you go from here, you will see that at the top, you will see home, gallery, map, scene, groups, content, and organization. So basically each one of them has different purpose. The home, if you click on the home button, that's basically what you will see. This is the home. Then you have gallery. The gallery usually shows you the different type of items that you have been creating on the platform. The map, when you click on map or on scene, it brings you to the tool where you can create them. So the map would basically be 2D items that you will be creating, while the scene will be three-dimensional items that you would be creating. Then you have groups. So there's groups and organization that basically showcase how you can create subgroups within the organization. So the groups is specific to project, for instance. If I created something that I really wanted to share with just the people on this call, for instance, I could call it a certain name and all of you will have access to that specific folder. And we would be able to work on the project together. Or there's the organization. The organization is basically everybody who has an account on this platform. So for us, it's the GeoEquity Tech organization. So everybody who has a platform on this one. So organization, basically, if you click on it, then you can go and see what are the members that are on it, what licenses they have access to, how many credits do you have left. And then the content is basically all the content that you create over the time. And it is also, you can also filter it based on groups or organization or publicly, basically on how you want to share the project that you've created over time. And then on this side, you will see there's your name, your picture. And if you click on it, then you get access to your profile. So basically telling you the different information about your profile, the settings. So if you have any issues to try to sort this out. And then My Esri and training is basically some MOOCs and trainings that you can have access to get trained before you start a project. A lot of trainings and MOOCs are very interesting. I have done a lot myself. Then there is a community and forums, and the help, I would say, is kind of linked. So anytime you have an issue on the platform, so you can check the help. So where you can go and look for if there is somebody else that had the issue before, and you can also request to be helped by someone. But the community and forum is basically a group discussion where you can discuss about different things that you might have tried, or if you're having an issue, sometimes you can even discuss this within this community. And then ArcGIS blog, or basically blog about GIS, and it can be about different topics that people decide to write about. So then you have the search button where you can search anything on the platform. You have a notification that basically tell you, for instance, if someone added you to a group or an organization, then you can you will have a notification here. And then finally, this is those dots is where you will find all the tools that Vero has been talking about. So you'll have ArcGIS Online, Survey 123, Dashboard, Experience Builder, Field Map, and there's a lot of them that I don't even know about how to use them. And I'm pretty sure at some point in life I will learn about them. But today we are going to focus about StoryMaps. And so we'll have a dive into this tool. So are you seeing the new page that opened? Just to make sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So then this is how, when you click on StoryMaps, that's where it will bring you to. And on the left-hand side, this is, so stories, briefings, and collections, and even themes are the different segment, the different filter that you can use in terms of the type of content that you have here. So stories are basically story maps, so the whole thing. Briefings are slightly different. You can use them as presentation instead of using PowerPoint or Canva. Then you have collections. So for instance, if you're writing a series of different story maps and you want them to be put together and have them as a collection, then you can put it as a collection within the collection and then have one big name for the whole group. And then there's the themes. The themes is basically based on any of the app. When you have themes, it's about the font you use, the colors. And one good thing about this is whenever you're using a color that does not make it easy for someone to read on another color, it will already tell you that this is not going to work. So that's really exciting as well. And basically here in your content, you will have access to the different contents that you've created. So these are the different stories that I've created. And you can choose to have them under different folder. Again, it can be under your organization. So basically it's based on how you want to share them. Sometimes if you want to share it organization wide, then all the people in the organization will see it. If you share it in the groups, then it's specific groups. If it's your favorite, it's basically you that started it. And your content is basically the list of everything. And then here there's some quick links. So Storyscape is the latest news. So what's new, because there's always a lot of updates that's happening. And there's, because I think StoryMap is one of the tools that have a lot of feedback from people. So there is a lot of updates over time because they are listening to what people need. So, so you can learn more about the new updates here. You can learn how to get started, the different tutorials, how to plan your story. So it's very user-friendly and it's very exciting to learn more about it and to use. And basically, when you want to start a story, you just click on create a story, which is what we are going to do. I know I've been very quick on all this because I really wanted to jump into creating the story. So this was a brief overview. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you, but I promise you, even I was very scared the first time I jumped on ArcGIS online and I was like, what am I even doing? But once you get into it and you start using it, I remember there's one sentence that Vero said at the beginning when I started using that. She said, don't be afraid to break anything, touch everything, use every buttons, just try them all. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then we'll figure out how to make it work. So that's basically what I did. And that's how I think I got better at it. So don't be afraid to break anything because there's always a solution. So we'll create a story. I will start from scratch. And I don't want this story to be boring. So I thought about what I was going to talk about while we were creating this story. And I think the only thing that I know that nobody else can know better than me is my own story. So I'm just going to talk about me. and about everything I've done so far. I would say all the exciting things. So I will start. So this is how the interface starts. You can add a title. Let's say the title could be, okay, wait a minute. Why is my keyboard not working? Give me a minute. I don't know why my keyboard isn't working. Give me a second. Okay, it's working. So let's do okay, I'm going to be a bit of a nerd. My mappy little story. So let's say we're going to create this story, which is going to be about me. And so we'll start with a map. So basically, let's start by going to a map. So this little part, so just to give you, I do have to give you a little bit of overview because I'm just going into it directly. But you can choose here how you want it to be. So you can choose the design of the cover. For instance, if you want it to be across and have like just one image at the top, or do you want to have the image at the back and then the title on top of it, or just section into two? You just choose what you want, and here you will have the different themes, or you can choose from your themes as well. I will choose my theme, which is going to be called the pineapple much theme, because I am a big pineapple addict. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using for my story map. And I think we're good for this. And when you come into the tool, you will see that there's always this little plus sign. This is the button that you should not be scared to break, because there's a lot of features in it. So you can choose to go basic with the text, the button, the separator, and I will try to use as much as possible from here, but obviously I cannot use all of them, unfortunately. So we'll start with the map. So let's go with the map. And I will choose to do an express map. So basically, if you already have maps created, you can choose from the maps that already exist in your contents. But one thing you could do as well is go to new express map, where you create a map then for the story map. So here I would like to do a new express map. Okay, loading. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So the map will show like this. The map is not being shown, but I can look for instance, I can look for a location. And the first thing I want to say is that I am, because basically you can't see it right now, but I am from Mauritius. So let's look for Mauritius first. So this is Mauritius. So it finds Mauritius, and I choose to add this to the map. So then I can add it to the map, and I can say this is where I was born, and I save it. And then if I want to focus a little bit more into from where on Mauritius was I born and raised, I can go more specifically to my hometown, which is called Capricorn, which is a very French name for some reason, colonization. So I go to Capricorn, and again, it focuses even more on the map. And then you can, again, add it to your map. And here you can add a description where I would say born and raised. And then I wanted to put a pin in Beaubassin-Rosil, which is like just slightly up, because this is where I went to school. But then I was like, it's too close. So I want something more drastic. So I'm going for something a little bit further. So we're going to go where I went to start my career in conservation. So we're going to the national park. So it's going to be Black River National Park. Let's try to find it. Okay, saying Chamarel, it's not really Chamarel, but we take that one. So this is where I did my conservation, well, at least where my career started as a conservationist. So this is where I did it. So basically, this is a quick demo of at least what Express Map would look like. And once you added your, okay, saving.
And I think you might want to turn off your camera just a little bit because you're cutting out. I don't know if it's
Okay.
she's cutting out fine. Yeah, I think it might help with bandwidth.
Okay. So is it better now? I don't know. Better.
Yes.
Okay. So now that I have all the different points on my map and it's now in my story map, one thing that I can do is choose to put the map on one side and add text on the other side. Why you would say I want to do that? Because then I can add more information to it and like kind of add some what we call action that showcases the map moving, because right now if someone is looking at the story map, they will just see one point in the middle of nowhere and they will not understand what is happening. So then you can write, for instance, if I want to say I was born in Black River. So I could then highlight this text and hold on, give me a minute.
It has to be in a sidecar first, Anga. You have to put it in the sidecar first to link it.
Okay, yeah. Give me a second. Well, we all need to restore the map? No.
Potentially. If you're trying to do a map action, yes, you might
Yeah.
need to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just going to show one point with the map action. I won't add all the points again, just so we don't lose time on it. Okay, yeah. So let me do that. Quick open just okay. So let me put my text again. So as I was saying, if I want to add information about why there's these points, so I could add a media action. So which is when I select Catrebone, then I want to edit the map view to show Catrebone more in depth. Then I save this. Then it has like a hyperlink that is actually linked to this word. And then there is one that is linked to Black River. Edit map view. Then this one goes to here. Okay, so then I need to preview. I'll just show. So then when someone is opening this, if they click on Quatre-Bornes, the map moves to Quatre-Bornes. And if they want to see where Black River is around the map, then they click on Black River and they can see where Black River is around Mauritius. So the more points you have, then you can have more actions being created. And one thing we like doing as well, if you have a specific color that you use for the different locations, you can also add the same color here so that it helps visually as well with the different movement and the different pins so that it's not the same color pin around the map that you used. So next we
Also
will
want
see
to add quickly, we have a beautiful
Yeah.
lagoon. That was a completely unrelated side note.
Okay, we do. We really do. But I'm not going to talk about the lagoon too much because I know Anso is coming afterwards. So I'm excited about that as well. So once I knew I went for the conservation field, I spent, as I said, 5 years there, and I actually had a small video that I created about this. So I feel like it's only fair that I add this video to this story map. So I can add a video here. So under media, you can add image, 360 images, image gallery. I choose to add a video. So I can add this. I can add it here. So it's a quick video. I don't know if you will hear the audio. I mean, it's not a super cool audio. It's just like a background music. But I'm not even sure. Okay, so while the video is loading, I would like to say that hello, can you hear me? You all freezed. I'm not sure if I got.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So as I said before, that's how I started learning about maps. And one of the very interesting map that I did only once I left the conservation field was creating a map showcasing the growth of the different subpopulation of pink pigeons. And I would like to showcase that on a swipe map. So what we call a swipe map, so that you can see the before and after kind of. So it's under immersive. No, it's not under immersive. It's under media. So you can add a swipe. So then you can choose to add, I want to add a web map. Sorry, connection is not really, network is not really on my side. Okay. So we go to, so this, showcasing 1987.
I think if it doesn't load, that's okay, Anga. I think, I don't know, did you have a lot left in your presentation, in your demo?
There was a swipe map and then map tool and gallery, and then maybe embed. But yeah.
Maybe because of the internet challenge, maybe we'll pass it to Ansu if you're okay, and then we can take questions. Of course, as soon as I
Yeah.
say that, it loads. But I think if you want to finish the map swipe, because things are loading really slowly. So
yeah.
then, because Ansu has map tour in her story map anyways, so
Yeah.
maybe try to load the swipe map. Otherwise, that's the thing when we're going live across two different sides
Yeah,
of the
that's the
world.
thing. Yeah, because ArcGIS Online, one thing that I would say, which is showcased right now, is that it does take a lot of internet. So if you're doing Zoom and doing ArcGIS Online at the same time, it's a bit tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can
And you're
try to do
uploading the
that.
video at the top as
Yeah.
well, so it's probably eating up all your bandwidth.
Yeah. But I mean, I can stop sharing and add some feature to it, and then I can showcase it later if we have some time. Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I just want to make sure Anso is ready.
Ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's loaded anyway, so you get the sense of
Yeah,
what
so this
it's a
is
comparison map.
Yeah, so it's a comparison map. Basically, this is what the population, so those small dots are the different subpopulations of pink pigeon around the island. So the reason they are just there is because that's the only piece of native forest that we have left, unfortunately, in Mauritius. So this is a map of 1987. So the light pink at the back of the dot is where there was like a high concentration of pink pigeon. And in 2020, this is how big the population came. So all around the different subpopulation. And unfortunately, this small dot is actually a remote island from Mauritius. And the bird did not survive as much as we wanted on this small island. But we have hope that it will still be growing and growing in the future. I will stop sharing and pause to Sophie, and I will see if I can share anything later. But yeah, thank you all.
Thanks a lot, Anga. So I won't take up any time. I will pass to Anne-Sophie. I'm very proud of her project and what she did while she was a fellow. So Anne-Sophie, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Vero. Thank you, Anga. So, well, first let me try to share my screen. I don't know, can you all see my screen? Like, is it allowing me to do it?
Yes, we see your screen.
Perfect. Okay, so first of all, yeah.
Wait a minute, you're back on Zoom, so you have to put it on the other screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise,
yes. So okay.
we otherwise I see myself.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yes. So like I am Anne-Sophie, Anso for short, and I was in the first AfriTech cohort, and so that like 3 years ago, I actually didn't know anything about GIS. Like it was just on a random day, and my encounter with Vero wasn't as professional as it was with her and Anga. We met in a hairdresser salon. Yeah, that was a very funny day, and I just like encountered her, and we just started like talking about like, oh, GIS and this, and I
Tell
didn't
the
even
true
know
story,
like.
and so I stalked her. She was talking about marine science, and I say, "Hey, you do marine science? Do you want to apply for the fellowship?" I was creepier than that.
Well, no, not creepy, but yeah, it's just like every time everyone knows like how much I love talking about the marine science and the marine world, and also to know that I am a certified scuba diver. So everyone who want to hear about it, I'm just gonna say like, oh, hi, I'm Anne-Sophie. Do you want to go dive? I literally just do that with everyone. And so, yeah, so I just came across Vero, and she told me about like the cohort she was doing for AfriTech, and that's how I just end up being exposed to the world of GIS, and which I still so grateful for that day, because it like really gave me like taught me like how I can use GIS in the field of marine science, but not only in the field of marine science, but also how to like the world of storytelling, and how to showcase the beauty of the ocean to people and make them want to be involved with the ocean, but also come dive with me. I was so eager to find a dive buddy, so I just like enroll everyone who want to come and dive with me. So this is kind of how I came up with my capstone project idea that I had to do for the AfriTech Fellowship, and which is named as Let's Go Dive. So how I came up with this idea of this capstone was, as I said, I am a certified scuba diver, and I always heard people telling me that they were scared to dive, and some question like was genuine, but I always hear the same question saying like, oh, I don't know how to swim, so I won't be able to dive. I wear glasses. I also wear glasses, but still I dive. Some were like scared of, oh, what if I encounter a shark? I was like, my friend, if you ever encountered a shark on your very first dive, I will be so jealous. I've been diving for 5 years now. I still haven't seen a shark. I will be so jealous of you. Maybe we won't be friends anymore if you see a shark on your first dive. But yeah, so this is finally how I came up with my capstone project. And my program statement was, why was people scared of diving? And I later on realized it was mostly the apprehension and the lack of information people had before going for a dive. So the project that I did was really to help alleviate this fear and apprehension of people, like mostly people who never dive or never snorkel, and how to make them get rid of this fear for them to be like confident enough to get in the water. So here you can see like already like the story map that I did, and you have like the title, Let's Go Dive. And me being so fond of quotes, so I had a quote related to diving, and the background picture you can see is actually taken like with a group of divers. I think we went for, oh, it was Christmas, yeah. I can see one of the diver having a Christmas hat on the head, yeah. So it was a group photo taken, and I did put on like the definition of scuba diving, like really explaining what is scuba diving, like quite of briefly also, and having a lot of pictures, because also I came with time, I realized that the best way to encourage someone to go for diving or snorkeling, show them pictures, show them videos. It's actually how I end up enrolling so many of my like the previous fellow from the AfriTech cohort, and even Vero and Anga, like that's how I enrolled in the diving team. Like they show so many pictures and videos of diving, and this picture actually has been taken by me. Yeah, I am also like very fond of underwater photography and videography. So you can see like pretty turtle. We have a lot of like nice shipwreck also in Mauritius. So yeah, so having like pictures showing them like how the marine world is, and I had like also like again like explaining what scuba diving is and the feeling that it gives. And here you can see a picture in the background, which is actually my sister for her first dive. I was able to convince her to come dive with me someday, and she like love her first experience and might be going for another one when I'll be back to Mauritius after I complete my master in Ireland. And I also included some frequently asked questions. And I'm not kidding. These questions that you're seeing here are actually questions that I encountered so many times. And this question also, how I got them is by doing a survey 123, which is another GIS tools that you have. And like really, I wanted to have like a survey that I sent to all the fellows that was in my cohort, but also to the friends that I had outside the AfriTech cohort, and just like had basic give me like their fear and apprehension toward diving. And this is what the different question I had, like what if I run out of air, which is actually it won't happen, because you'll be surrounded by instructor diver and people who's gonna help you. So you're definitely not gonna run out of air if you're gonna dive. And like same as I say, like what if I wear glasses or even contact lenses? I heard like people who saw like because they wear contact lenses they couldn't dive, but you can actually even dive with a contact lens. And like even people like being scared of the marine life. And like yeah, as I say, like what if I'm being eaten by a shark? I still have this kind of question sometimes. And like the most frequent one coming, like always the one, what if I don't know how to swim? And I always love to tell people that actually when you dive, it's not about know how to swim, it's about how to think properly. So actually you don't need to know how to swim, but you just need the confidence to be in water. And that's why you have like then the dive centers and dive instructors are gonna help you out with that. And yeah, so again, you can see like pictures in the background. And normally I think it was supposed to be a video, but because of the internet issue, it's not playing. So sad. But yeah. And also another fun thing that you can have like with StoryMap also is like I did put the different benefits that you can have with scuba diving, and which is cool that you can have embed also like link from where you take this information. So it's kind of like showing like a proof that you're not like making up something, that it's like from somewhere like published, that you can just show people. And you can also like have like audio, and I will try to play it. I don't know if you can hear it, like you can hear, or maybe not. I think because of the internet it's not playing. Can you hear it?
No, probably you
Yeah,
might
the
have to
internet.
do advanced sharing as well to share your sound. That's might be the thing. Nicholas said he's looking for flights to Mauritius.
No.
You know what? At the end of the day, if you learn nothing about GIS, Elizabeth is going to be like, fine, but at least you know where Mauritius is. So we're winning.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess the audio is not playing, so sad again. But well, yeah. So again, like I had a lot of like quotes, like actually from myself, saying like how like hearing your own breathing when diving is actually kind of calming. And I did have people, I don't know, Vero, maybe if you can like confirm if like when you went diving with me, like hearing your own breathing did calm you down. I don't know, or maybe it's only me.
I was too busy hyperventilating, but you know, after the hyperventilating, I was quite calm.
Good to know that. Yes. So, and again, you can see like pictures, and all these pictures again taken by me. And like here, you can see the guy saying like doing the sign, like saying everything's okay, and he was pretty fine and okay. Yeah. So like here I told you can embed. So for all like the different benefits I talk about, and just like the audience can just like click on the link and go like to the website that you use, and maybe if they want to read more about the benefits of diving. And yeah, so we have more pictures. And that's me and my dive buddy before she goes back to her home country. And here again, yeah, I don't know if like you're gonna see it play, like, yeah, it's me being happy, being underwater. So happy. So this was a video that, so I wanted also to give an overview how a first dive gonna be, because I did also have this question a lot of time when people do like are interested in diving and they didn't like know how it's gonna be. So I see having a video explaining how it's gonna be like from like when you get to the dive center, when they're gonna like give you the briefing about the diving and how they're gonna prep you, the equipment, how it is, explaining how they all work together and how they like even like bring you to the pool session first and then to the open water where you're gonna like dive actually in the ocean. So there was like I did put a video also, but again, I don't think it's gonna play unfortunately because of the bandwidth. And this is I can see like some famous dive sites that we have around Mauritius that I did wanted to showcase. And like I did put like the maximum water depth and like the certification level that you need to be for doing that, because yes, unfortunately, like most like in Mauritius and I guess in most countries also, you need to be like quite to a certain level of diving certification to be able to dive some places. But this, I put it also like to kind of encourage people to go for their at least first level of diving certification. And again, like some pictures, and you see like here is another dive site, which is a coral garden, and you see like it's moving around the map. So it's showing like here. And second site was I don't really know how to pronounce her name, but yeah, it's in Le Monde, which is like at the tail of Mauritius. Again, you can see it like move around, pretty cool. And this is a very famous like wreck dive that we have like in a small island that is just like up north Mauritius, like Gunners Point, and it's a very like also a lot of people do like to go there and dive and even like snorkel or swim. So here. And this is one of my favorite dive sites, the Water Lily and Emily, which is like quite like, it is like the region where I go dive most often. Here. And also part of my project, what I wanted to have is I also embedded an instant app that I did. And the purpose of it was to, I don't know if it's gonna load, I do hope. Yeah. So the purpose of it was to kind of find a dive center to where you are, like in which region you are. So for example, we have a region in Mauritius known as Grand Bay, which is found in the north part of Mauritius. So here, if you click on Grand Bay and you keep like the distance, like you don't want to go more than 4 kilometers away from where you are. So you're gonna have like 3 dive centers around your area. So I created this Instead app using data, like collecting data from a survey 123, and then loading it in an Instead app. That's how we generated this app. And here you can see like you have 3. You have like Octopus Diving Center, the Ocean Spirit, or the My Base Diving Mauritius. So if you click on, so you can see like you click on one of them and you just like get you can have the information for it. So here you can have it and you can click directly and go. So you click on view and yeah, so it sends you directly to the website of the dive center. So where you can already know the different information and get the contact of the dive center. So if you are somewhere around there and just say, oh, maybe I just want to see if I can have a dive today, or just like drop to some dive center and like ask for information. So you can just like click on the app, look for which region, and you can even like have like if you want to go like willing to go further from your position, you just increase the radius and you can like have more dive centers around. And yeah, and so like I also earlier, as I said, like in my story map, you see like the different questions that I answered through the story map, but I also like had a like the surveys that was designed and sent out to the different people for them to answer and for like me to have an overview of like their fear and apprehension. So like the idea behind that was to actually like in terms like for dive centers, because I realized that there's also still a lack of like of preparation that like the client can have. So a lot of them are still like so scared and or really like apprehending what's gonna be their dive. So it's only once they're gonna go in the dive center that they're gonna have all the information. But sometimes like they just be stressing about it and like mentally not being like really prepared. But I thought about like what if dive center just send out a survey once you said you book a dive with them and they just send you out a survey, which like the way I designed it was like really like just brief, like just giving like either you give your gender or you can not give it, like your like age range. And if you click on saying like you have you tried scuba diving before, you just click no, and then they're gonna like ask, are you interested in diving? Yes, no, yes. Then they're gonna like ask you if you have any health problem, if you have any apprehension regarding diving, and to tell us any to tell us any questions that you might have concerning diving. And that's why like in between the question I did wanted to put this this like for like tell if you have any question. And below, I don't know if you can see because I kind of realize I'm not even seeing what I wrote a bit like just smaller below it. It's just like there's no such thing as a stupid question, because I know people, even certified divers sometimes, who are scared to ask a question thinking that's stupid. But when it's something concerning your safety and the fact you're going to go underwater, I know how stressful it can be. So you can literally ask me like, is there a fish that's gonna eat you? And I still like say, I'm not gonna laugh obviously, like no, there's no fish that's gonna eat you. Maybe a shark, I'm not sure. But if you're going like 2 meter deep, in Mauritius there's no way you're gonna encounter a shark at this depth. So that's pretty okay. And yeah, and so like the survey was also like, connected to an email. So basically would have been supposed to be the dive center email. And then the dive center would just already have all the information regarding the client and already know about the apprehension of the client, and already maybe like send out like a reply message to the survey and tell the person like, okay, like for this and this question, like it's okay, you don't have to worry about. And if they already know this person have like some issues and have a specific in dive instructor that is more qualified, kind of, we can say, to like handle this kind of client who are like more, who gonna be more anxious underwater. So they know they have like this dive instructor who's like gonna be more patient and also like already informs the instructor that, oh, this client's coming and he's like a bit anxious about the dive. So already like brief him or her with every information and just like make the person like feel as comfortable as possible. So like it was really like to alleviate this fear and apprehension and really prepare someone prior a dive, and so that they don't like get this scared this much and really enjoy it, because diving is such an amazing experience and it should be enjoyed to the best. So yeah, so that was my little capstone project. And yeah, and it was done in 2023. So there are, like as Anga said earlier, the StoryMap is like amazing because it's kind of like update nearly every year. So there are new I believe there are new like every year like new updates being done. So there's some maybe components that been newly released that I don't have on my StoryMap, but I did thought about like working again on it and just like making it a bit like refine it and making it a bit better, because there's some of my pictures that are blurry. I know I have new pictures. I gain more skill now in underwater photography, so definitely gonna change some pictures. But yeah, so that was it for me. I hope you enjoyed my little story map.
It's a big story map. Thank you so much, Anso. It was really great. I really appreciate you sharing. I will actually ask everyone to, now that we've told you all, it was mostly an underwater story map workshop. Anne-Sophie is so upset because she's been in Ireland. She's so cold. Now that like she's made all these friends and we're going snorkeling without her, she's very, very unhappy because we're not. But she'll be back soon, so we'll go snorkeling with her. So I'm posting another little survey there. I'm curious after everything we've shared if new things come to your mind. We purposefully like wanted to leave enough space for questions and conversation. I do want to quickly share a few learning resources that you don't have to note them down. I will share a follow-up email. There is a lot of GIS capabilities from remote sensing to data and visualization to storytelling, like we've shown. There is an aspect where there's no one who, like someone like me, I'm a generalist, so I understand a bit of everything, but I'm not a remote sensing specialist. So if you came to me and say, hey, I have this project in mind, which I encourage you to email me if you have any dedicated project in mind. I know enough people in that space that I can connect you to the people that are the expert in that space. So there are tons of learning resources there. If you set yourself a goal of, I want to learn every single GIS tool, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I imagine as students, your lives are very busy, you have coursework, it can be really hard to develop another skill inside of all the coursework that you have. I would say pick something that makes sense to you and a tool that makes sense to you and apply it in a project. Leverage this licensing that you're getting, make the most out of it. GIS is one of the fastest growing tool that industry and tool that is out there. It is a very relevant tool to have in your toolkit. And so when choosing what to learn, one of my recommendation would be to go for, so I want to make sure I have the right screen. So one of my recommendation would be for you to look at, first of all, the ArcGIS online, which again, I will share the tutorials page. There is lots of learning format. You'll find webinar, you'll go attend sessions. There's lots of content for learning. And it's free. The one thing I would say though, I'm not a big fan of their online courses, but that's me, right? It's dependent on people. I like their tutorial because you can actually work with real data and apply it. It's not as theoretical, and you can filter the tutorials by capabilities. So if you want to do data management, if you don't want to do fill ups, you're planning a survey to go out and collect data, you want to do mapping, or you're interested in remote sensing and visualization, there is actually data that comes with the tutorial, and now you have the licensing. To know that some of the tutorial you might not be able to do depending on what licensing you have, but the great thing when you hit on a tutorial, it tells you what requirements you need to meet to be able to do the tutorial. So when you load the tutorial page, essentially, it will give you, so this is like a learning plan for a tutorial, and it gives you multiple tutorial in one. So if you click on the first one, which is a tutorial per se, that's going to take a second to load. My husband finds this hilarious. Like earlier, he's like, you keep clicking, it doesn't do anything. You just gotta let it load. And I was like, no, I can't wait. I just keep clicking. I'm not very patient. So yeah, so one thing to note for the tutorial, and I'm saying this because it's quite important, look at when was it last updated? Because if it's too old, sometimes the data is broken. So it's not really worth you doing it, and then you get in there and then it's not working. So if you've seen that it's actually been updated in the last 6 months to a year, it's a pretty good tutorial to try and do. Otherwise, if it's 2018, software might have changed. It's a very rapidly evolving landscape. And you see this tutorial does not require you to have an ArcGIS account or any other software. So you can actually go for this tutorial and not have any licensing at all and still be able to do it. When you log into your ArcGIS online, you have the Training Academy, which is the space. You have these different courses catalog. You have certifications. The certifications are paid, but to be honest with you, with the free content, there's a lot you can actually do. You get certificate of completion for the free contents as well, so that's something. I will highly recommend the massive online course, so the MOOC. There is a climate change one that came out 2 years ago, really great by Dr. Dawn Wright. There is a spatial one with who does the spatial stats one? A couple of people. There's a couple of people doing spatial. It's basically led by Lauren Bennett's team. There is also the cartography one is if you're into making pretty impactful map, and it's a really good MOOC. And John Nelson's tutorial on YouTube are wonderful as a learning resource. They're fun. It's a really fun MOOC. Like most MOOC are quite serious. It's the only MOOC where you laugh quite a bit in it. So I would say out of the MOOCs that I've done quite a bit of them. I would highly recommend that. But I have a bias towards learning through tutorial. Again, I don't want you to worry about
No, so I'm looking
like
at
this.
sampling
So
like,
I think I would just like
with them and stuff.
Elizabeth,
How did you hear
would you
about
mind if
that?
I just muted it?
Social media black
Oh, okay. I'll just mute Elizabeth. I think she's fine. So one thing I want to share is go back to the Mentimeter and look at what you shared. Just give it a reload and see what you put out. So I really like the shift of what you wrote. It's completely different to what you wrote earlier, and it's very exciting. So data collection, democratizing data, engage, storytelling, advocate, community. So I think that's really exciting to see a bit of the shift, which was more analytical when I first asked you this question. And that makes me really happy because I see that you're saying what I'm saying with the shift. It's not just a tool, it's a really powerful tool for community as well. So yeah, I want to stop here. I want to really thank Angel and Anne-Sophie. I'm very proud of both of you. It was a great demo and a great sharing. I will stop sharing my screen. This Mentimeter is cool. Like I love the shift that I see. I want to see if you have any question or concerns or what do I do next question. And you can post in the chat. Actually, see, Mariam said in the chat, I'd like to get stronger in GIS to be able to use on more research project. I would definitely say because of your field of interest, GIS is an inherent part of what you do, and finding ways, the best way for you to do it in a way that's not overwhelming at the moment, finding little projects and steps where you have this licensing now, how can I apply this in projects that I'm currently doing? Like it could be coursework. I did really ugly story maps when I started, and I used it for presentation, but it forced me to use the tool. So when I was working on something, it had nothing to do sometimes with the actual work that I was doing, but I would use Survey123 to go collect survey questions and include the spatial component. Think of GIS just as a tool that you're using on the sides. And what happened, the more you familiarize yourself with using it for simple workflows, it allows you to go deeper with it when you actually, because that's the frustrating part with GIS, right? We've all been there. If you're not doing it every day, you open the app and you're like, where's that button again? The button that does that thing and WebGIS now, which is not taught a lot in all school, is actually really powerful because most courses teach desktop GIS, which is more intense as a tool. It has a lot more capabilities. It serves its purpose. But I would actually encourage you to dig into the WebGIS portion as a way for you to familiarize and build that spatial literacy for yourself. When the time comes, GIS has so many capabilities. Like you say, when you go on that learning tutorial, you will see all of the capabilities. Chances are you would not need all of it. I went to UAlbany in upstate New York. I only got courses in drone. remote sensing, and what else? Like I can't remember. There was something about GIS. Yeah, it was intro to GIS. I've never done any remote sensing in my life, and I'm still a geospatial professional, but I got enough background that if you came to me and had questions, I could point you to the right person that have the deep expertise. That's the thing with this industry. There are people out there to help you with your projects. You don't need to become industry expert overnight. If you want to build your GIS skills, find a project that has a need for it and apply it to it. And then if you're really stumbling across a major barrier, you can, you've got my contact detail. You can email me. I will find you the right person that knows this thing. And like Anga said earlier, I love when you break Esri stuff. Break it so they can tell them we broke it, fix it, make it better. There's nothing you can do that's, especially in the context of being student, there's nothing really that is going to cause irreversible damage. Any other question?
I did have a bit of a specific question. And Sophie mentioned, she has better photos to update her project that she was showing us, her story map. I'm just wondering, curious about that process. Is it like you need to start from scratch, or is it pretty easy to exchange those and update an existing project?
And Sophie, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I can respond to that. Yeah, so normally it's like quite a easy process, because as you see, like all the picture were already embedded, so I can just with a click just change it. But you can also, for me personally, I wanted to kind of like start again the project from afresh, because since there's been new update with a story map now, like with the 2 years that passed, definitely I would like to make most of use of the new tools and updates that's been on StoryMap. But if it's just for changing the pictures, it's not necessarily need to be like done completely from scratch. It's like from my original version, I can just like change the picture, and it won't normally affect my the other aspect of the story map.
And you can create a duplicate. Yeah, you can create a duplicate as well of a story map and work from there. The other cool feature that you have in story map is if there's location with your pictures, and if you're into photography and you have a location tag, you can upload it to the map tour and will tag the location. So you can have a map tour that will pull on from the location data to the metadata from your pictures and upload it, and it will add a pin to it for you on a map. So that's a pretty cool way if you're doing any kind of field work and survey and you're taking picture and you get that pictures geotagged and turn on location, you can just pretty seamlessly, like there might, depending on the accuracy of your GPS on whatever device you're using, of course, when you take the picture, it will basically pull up the location.
Thank you.